Shalom, Kal Halayam La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the Lord's elect scattered throughout the earth. Yahweh is the true name of the Most High. Yahweh Shai is the true name of his son. And I open this lesson speaking the ancient Hebrew language. The true descendants of Jacob on this earth in these last days, the descendants of the 12 tribes, are as so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We're the Most High's chosen people, the Israelites. All right. And an elect remnant of us will be saved from the destructions that's coming. So I'm back in the spirit. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. Let's start. We're starting here in Malachi 1. Straight to the point, verses 2 and 3. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Saith the Lord. All right, Jacob and Esau, the two fraternal, not identical, but fraternal twins inside Rebekah's womb. All right. And when you go into it in Genesis, the 25th chapter, the Most High told Rebekah and Isaac that two different nations were inside her womb. All right. Two different manners of people. All right. The descendants of Esau on this earth today are the so-called white people. The descendants of Jacob are the 12 tribes, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And continuing, the Lord says, yet I love Jacob. All right. And that's why through his line, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, comes the chosen people, the Israelites. Right? Not Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. No, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because the Most High loved Jacob. Verse 3, and I hated Esau. All right? So the Most High does hate. He hates a whole nation of people, the Edomites, the descendants of Esau. All right? And it shows. That's why they have that mark of leprosy, that curse. You know, that curse from Cain that followed Esau and his descendants. All right? Where they do not have much pigmentation. All right, therefore their flesh, their blood shows forth through their skin. Their skin is translucent. All right, hence their name Esau, which in the Hebrew is Ishashua, and it means wasted away is he. All right, that's what Jacob named him, Esau, Ishashua, wasted away is he. All right. And then the name that the Most High put on them, Edom, Adawam in the Hebrew, which means red. All right. And that's why we say so-called white man, so-called white people, because they are not white. They are red. All right. That's their true color. Any type of emotion they show, whether it's anger, jealousy, embarrassment, they turn bright red. All right. And that's a curse because they don't have much pigmentation. So when they go out, the sun attacks them. You see that? So the Most High, that's a major sign that the Most High put on those people that he hates them, because creation itself is against them. All right. If they don't go, they got to put on chemicals to go outside. Sunblock, sunscreen, heavy tinted shades, sun visors, because the sun eats their skin up. All right. They have a skin cancer. They're plagued. All right. And many other, recessive characteristics they have, recessive traits, where the Most High shows that he's completely against those people. All right. And of course, their actions show that. The Most High hated Esau, the original Esau himself, because he was wicked, sold his birthright. All right. Married some Hamite women when he was already instructed by his parents not to stay away from them. Right. Went ahead and married some Hamites. Okay. What else did he do? He said in his heart that he was going to slay his brother Jacob, showing forth those characteristics of Cain. All right. So the Most High hates this man. All right. And his descendants. So continuing, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. All right. Yeah, because Esau in times past has built up empires, right? Like the Roman Empire, the greatest known empire on the earth during that time. All right. But what ended up happening? It fell. All right. And Jake took over, Jake, short for Jacob. Israelites took over certain parts of that Roman Empire. All right. But the Edomites themselves went down and went into a period of, what's the term for it? I can't, the tongue for it the term for it, it's at the top of I can't think of it right now, but basically they went into the Caucasus Mountains where they were living like cavemen, uncivilized. All right. Wood woes. Look up that term, wood woe. All right. Matter of fact, let's go to Google real fast. And I may even be spelling it wrong, but it'll come up. Yeah, Woodwoe. Woodwoes, also spelled Woodwoes or Wild Man, is a mythical, hairy humanoid from medieval Europe folklore believed to live in deep, untamed forests. But see, the thing is, it wasn't nothing mythical about it. These were the Edomites. Because during medieval Europe, also known as the Dark Ages, that's when Israelites of the Southern Kingdom, so-called Negroes, so-called black men, ruled Europe. All right. And during that time, the Edomites, which were at that time formerly known as the Romans, they went into caves in the Caucasus Mountains, deep into the wilderness, and they were living like wild men to the point where they lost their language. All right. They were completely uncivilized and living like beasts. Like this image you see here, this is an Edomite. This is a so-called white man. All right. And if you look at an Edomite derelict today, they'll look like this, ungroomed. All right. Just go find a homeless Edomite. They look just like this. Damn. You see? A complete scumbag. This is the nature of the so-called white man. All right. But getting back to the point, continuing in verse 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And that's exactly what they've done. All right. And that's why this system today is what it is. Because, just going into secular history, there was a period of time in medieval Europe when the bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death, the Black Plague, hit. And what did that do? That took out about 70% of Europe's population during that time, which, again, it was so-called black people ruling Europe, Israelites. All right. Knights and kings and nobles ruling Europe. But that plague took the majority of them out. All right. And Esau, Edom, he, being the filthy beast that he is, he was somehow immune for the most part. He was immune to that plague. All right. Which enabled him to, or not enabled, which allowed him to, rise during that time and start taking over Europe. All right. And that's why you have so-called white people in Europe today, deceiving the world into thinking like they've always been there or something. No, they haven't always been there. All right. They've only been there for modern history, rough like the 1600s. All right. And then you got the Renaissance period where they start to, deceive the world, whitewash the images. And that's what the scripture's talking about. They returned and rebuilt the desolate places, the Roman Empire. All right. And that's what this system is you see today. It's the Roman Empire rebuilt. And the Most High allowed this because they don't look at the so-called white man. They're weak. They don't have any physical power. They didn't have the mental or physical power to do this, but the Lord, this is his prophecy. He set them up. All right. So showing that, that he set them up to do what they did, to rise into power and take control over the world today. All right. Well, what does that remind us of? Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. The Most High gave them this power. But let's go to Daniel 4 and verse 17. Daniel 4 and 17. It reads, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men." All right. This is the basis of men, the so-called white man that the Most High set up to rule over the earth in these last days. All right. And the Most High is going to show his power in taking this guy down and setting up his people. All right. As it says, when we go back to Malachi 1 and verse 4, I'll read from the top again, whereas Edom saith, "We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai of hosts. They shall build," all right, and they indeed did build up this technocracy that you see today. This system, this society, all right, is so-called great as it is. Babylon the Great, which is so-called America. So they shall build, but I will throw down. And that's what the Most High is doing right now. All right, we're witnessing the downfall of the so-called white man and his established empire. All right, but they'll completely go down, once America is destroyed during World War III and Yahushua, returns during that time. It reads, "And they shall call them the border of wickedness." All right, they are labeled as the wicked and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. All right, so the Lord is angry with these people forever, as long as they exist. All right. And there's no way around that. You see the so-called Christian and Catholic church, they don't teach this. All right. They don't go this deep into the scriptures, but this is the truth. It's written here in the scriptures. And as the scriptures tell us, the Lord does not change. Malachi 3 and 6, the Most High says he does not change. All right. And he's a man that he shall not lie. So it is what it is. Now, getting to the point of this video, let's go to Proverbs 6, verse 16. Going back to the point of the Most High hating. All right, hating Esau, Edom, the Edomites. Proverbs 6 and 16. "These 6 things doth Yahweh, the Most High, Lord in all caps, doth Yahweh hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him." So here are the things: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. All right. So those first 3 things, these are all characteristics of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. He's proud. All right. That's one that, that's how the scriptures describes him, as a proud man. All right. A lying tongue. Yeah. That's why he has that title, the devil, which means deceiver. All right. And hands that shed innocent blood. All right. And you look at his track record, his history, even things he's doing right now. All right. Verse 18, "A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations." All right. The heart is dealing with the mind, Lab in the Hebrew. All right. So this devil's mind devises wicked imaginations. And what are examples of these wicked imaginations? Enslaving the whole population of the earth, to worship, his beast system and his mark of the beast, which is that RFID chip, to put brain chips, computer chips inside of people. All right, that's a big example of a mind devising wicked imaginations. All right, and it says feet that be swift and running to mischief. All right, he's mischievous. A false witness that speaketh lies. Again, he's the devil. All right, and he falsely accuses primarily the so-called Negro in all the tribes. All right. It says, and he that soweth discord among brethren, and he's turned the tribes against each other. This whole so-called blacks versus so-called Mexicans thing. Esau, Edom is at the center of that. Okay. So all of these 7 characteristics that were mentioned, all right, these top things the Most High hates, these are all characteristics of Esau, Edom. All right, even adding more to why the Most High says he hates these people and has indignation against them forever. All right. And his indignation is going to be accomplished when this prophecy here in Obadiah comes to pass. So let's go to Obadiah and we'll get straight to the point. And this whole chapter is going in on Esau, Edom, as we know. Here's the point in verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame. All right. Representing the southern and northern kingdom of Israel, likened to a fire and a flame. And the house of Esau for stubble. All right. Stubble is something that catches fire, fuel for fire. All right. Meaning they're going to be burned up. It reads, and they shall kindle in them and devour them. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. All right. So this is soon to come to pass during the kingdom of heaven, where these devils will be gathered in the pit and burned. All right. To the point of extermination. And there are precepts that support this. In Job saw the prophecy and prophesied that there's not going to be any son nor nephew left, meaning all of the males will be cut off. Extermination. And here it says the Most High hath spoken this. Right? So that's it. Lord willing, this was an edifying video. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the Lord's elect. Shalom.